Hello, everyone. My name is Angel Larena, and I'm coming here today to talk about cultural diversity and inclusion. In this session, we're going to dive into what culture is, how it's different based on region or your society or people around you. Then we're going to talk about what diversity is. Then we're also going to talk about the other part, inclusion. Finally, we're going to wrap up with some tips that can help make your club more successful in the future using these strategies. So let's dive right into it. What is culture? When you think about it, culture often defines the people you're around, the country you came from, the geographical region. This can include everything from Chinese traditions to Korean temples to African tribe traditions and Native American traditions as well. However, we must remember that culture can also be defined by a group of people. This can include the LGBTQIA plus culture and community, because they have developed their own culture inside of that. This could be the neurodivergent community and culture and how they communicate and speak. So just remember that culture is very based on the group of people you're around and how you interact with each other and the beliefs and moral systems that you hold valuable. That's what a culture is. Why is this important to a club? Because every club has its own culture. Yes, we all inherit things that are greater and macro around us. However, a club in its micro environment will have its own culture as well. Some clubs, we don't do a vote counter because we don't take votes that way. But some clubs do. That is completely a cultural thing. The idea behind defining that is to know what the next term means, diversity. Diversity is the idea that we can all be different while being the same. We're all humans, and we're all Homo sapiens. Yes, that was a funny joke recently online. They walked around and asked other people around us, do you like Homo sapiens? Many of us already know Homo sapien means humans. And you know, some of the responses people got were, I don't know who they are, but I mean, I'm glad to accept them. Or as long as they do it in the privacy of their home, they're okay. That is something that shows that we're not as open as we always think we are or educated. Diversity is the idea that while all of us are human, we're all different in our unique own ways. And this is a good thing. Each of us has our own system of beliefs that stem from macro to micro, coming down from generation and geography to family to the way we've experienced life and feel it. And each of us need to remember to be sensitive to the other people that are also experiencing life through their own eyes and may have a different, diverse experience. Why is this important in a club? As a neurodivergent person, I come across a bit brash. I come across direct and can often be defined as rude. Do I intend to be rude? No. My intention is just to give the information. But then I have to remember, not everybody is seeing the world from the same perspective I am. Not everybody is seeing it. Let's turn it around to you. You have a club meeting that's going excellent, and you have a guest one. And throughout the meeting, you've involved the guest, you invited them up to speak table topics, as our club cultures are. However, at the end, the guests said they felt a little uncomfortable with being called out to do table topics. However, they enjoyed the whole meeting. See it there? Right there, you and that potential member have a diverse belief. Your belief that is everyone should be included and brought into table topics. Theirs is that I wasn't too ready, maybe it should have been done next time. It can be, of course, expanded upon into different areas. The idea behind this is to understand that talking to each other, finding out each other's differences, and being respectful is what creates a diverse and stable club. If every member in the club is the same, the club will never expand, the club will not grow, and the club will just not see any form of innovation or pushing forward. You want to make sure your membership's diverse. Now, why is that? What is this leading into, Angel? Inclusion. Inclusion is the biggest thing in the world right now. And I'm going to come at this from a completely non-biased aspect. You. Let's take you on a journey. I want you to close your eyes, sit back a moment, and picture this. Are you ready? Now, there are two options here, online or in person. I want you to just picture whichever way feels comfortable for you and whichever way you prefer, okay? You are entering a meeting. You have never been a Toastmaster before, and you have high expectations because you just experienced something and you realize that you have a story to tell, but you don't know how to tell it. You did a lot of online research about speaking and public speaking and sharing your message, and you found Toastmasters. And all of your research led you to this club. Okay? You walk into the club, you sit down, and they don't greet you. That's okay. You let that slide and you continue staying. About 5-10 minutes in, they come and greet you. They say hello. Everything's going smoothly. However, throughout the meeting, there were some very uncomfortable points brought up, and you didn't feel included. They didn't invite you to say hi. They didn't introduce themselves. And they often made you feel like an outsider because they did things a certain way and you had no idea why. They didn't explain anything. After the meeting, they didn't even bother to get any feedback, and you just walk out of the club and leave. What's the problem here? As a club, that club did not make you feel included. They didn't make you feel like you belonged there or that you were even valuable to them. The same can be said from many different aspects. I'm going to take this up one more notch, okay? And I want you to remember this can happen on both sides, so just be aware. You walk into the club, or you're entering the club meeting, and you happen upon someone talking about how another member is weird and how they don't fit into the club and how you wish they would just find another club and leave. You witnessed this as a new person, as a guest. You come into the club, you witness them, and they don't realize you're there yet because you sat in the back, but they're all talking before their meeting and they're like, oh, hey, I don't know if this member is going to be doing too well because they're just so far out there. They're so weird. And I don't think their ideas align with ours. Now, I'm going to give you some brief background into the officers. These people have not spoke with this member. They did not try to come up with a consensus. They did not do any form of communication. They're just complaining. But you, as the guest, got this information. However, I'm going to twist it around a little. You feel the same way as that member. Now you feel that not only are you not included, you could be a valuable member there, but you feel that there are a bunch of people that aren't inclusive, they aren't there for the growth or development, and you just feel completely disinterested after that. You leave the club later to tell other people that, oh, that club was so horrible, it was a Toastmasters club. I'm going to show you the escalation here. Next level. They're going to tell their friends, oh yeah, if you're looking at Toastmasters, I don't think they're pretty good. They're not inclusive. You see how that one perception, that one club meeting escalated into that one person leaving with telling their friends. And then it moved away from the club into being more of an international thing as a whole organization. So yes, we need to take idea from organization, but we also need to be conscious of our club aspects. As officers, we want to be inclusive. We want to make sure all of our members have a voice and feel heard and respected. This was not the way it's supposed to be done. Now, open your eyes, feel better, shake it off. Let's get the badness off. I'm going to move into giving you some tips now and some ways that your club can ensure inclusivity in the future and hopefully help you build a more stable, strong foundation for membership. Get out your pens and paper because it's coming. I'm going to give you 5 seconds. I'm serious. Get your pens and paper. 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's go. Number 1 step to make your club inclusive and own it is to have a club meeting and write it into your club values in the club constitution. Yes. Make a stance as a club that says we as a club will be inclusive of every member and supporting and back all members and make sure that all members are heard. There's your number 1 thing. Put it in the Constitution, put it in your amendments, do whatever you need to do to solidify for your club. Number 2, I hope you're writing this down. In the club success plan, I want you to do the same idea as that does. I want you to take that goal and write it down on a piece of paper. And then I want you to talk to your club, and I want you to make sure all members are part of this, not just your executive committee, because that's important. All members have to be on board for this. And get ideas. How can we achieve this goal? Is there a better way? Maybe we can greet guests. Sergeant at Arms, this is a big one for you. If you're online, you are the Sergeant at Arms. Get in that chat and greet everyone there. Even if you're not greeting, verbally because someone else is speaking, when a guest pops in, get in that chat and say, hey, guest, we are so happy you made it today. And this is what's going on now. And this is highly critical if they're joining in the middle of the meeting. But yeah, that's the part. Then I want you to take those steps and work on implementing them. But I want you to put in another thing. And this is number 3 on your list. Create some enforceable consequences that will happen should the club not be, inclusive. Should the club not meet this standard. Everything is good to say, we're going to do this. We have steps to do this. But if you don't add a bit of accountability onto it, it won't be done. Because people say, well, if I don't have to do it, why should I do it? Right? So let's add some accountability. Number 4, and this one's hugely important. I want you to have every member write down 3 to 4 things. So this is some sub-listing here. So on your little list, do A, B, C, D. Number 1, why are you a member of this club? So that's what they're going to get out of being a Toastmaster in your club. Number 2 in your sub-list is what makes you feel like a valued member in this club? That's getting deep because that's going to tell you what each person feels about how they're communicated with things like that. Then number 3, and we have 4, remember, so number 3 in your sub list will be, what do you hope to see this club to achieve in the future? This is really important on setting a vision and goals for the future of the club. And finally, number 4. Is there anything you as a member need from this club? Whether it's a form of communication, whether you'd rather receive text messages instead of emails, anything like that. Are there any requests that you as a member need from this club? Those 4 things right there are going to give the entire club a good idea on where the club is and where everyone sees the club. That's a great way to be inclusive. Now, get out of the sublist, go to the next item on the list. PR. This is going to be highly critical on you and the membership, the VPM. I want you to create a plan to spread that your club is inclusive of everyone. I want you to make sure that when you're creating advertisements, when you're creating those things like that, you use inclusive language, you use inclusive images, and everything like that. Instead of saying, we had a Madam Toastmaster today or anything like that, I want you to remove those gender pronouns. Just say, our Toastmaster of the day has a great word of the day for you today, and whatever you're advertising. Make sure it's as inclusive as possible. Finally, now this is going to be an asterisk down at the bottom of your list. And this is a question I've received quite a bit. You know, as a club, we've all decided that we're going to be inclusive. We've all been taking action. However, there's just this one member that keeps speaking up or offending people. And now I'm going to give you that asterisk of a recommendation of what to do. Everyone's here for growth and everyone's here to learn. You as an executive committee member, you, the president, the VPE, whoever has the best, emotional quotient to speak with someone, set that in your side, have a chat with them. Find out what's going on with them as well. And then also voice your concerns. Bring it up. Talk to them. Let the member know that a change needs to happen because we need to be in alignment as a club. If this does not work, you can always remember to reach out to your area director, division director, or district to get more information on how to proceed further than that. Normally, though, as an executive committee member, once you speak to a member and you show them, hey, we care about you, but we do have a concern and we want to make sure we're all aligned together, they'll realize that this is an inclusive club even for them. You're giving them the advice they need to get better, and they can take that and go forward. Today, we've learned what culture is, and that was a very high-level definition. There's many definitions of it. We've learned a bit about diversity and what that means to become inclusive as a club. I hope that each of you wrote down these steps and took them down. Now, before I leave you today, I want to leave you with a little task. Whoever watched this video, in the feedback form for this video, I want you to go in and tell me something that makes you feel valued. So I know that there's only like 3 sections for what I liked, what I didn't like, blah, blah, blah. I want you to put it in the what I liked section. I want you to tell me what makes you feel valued as a member. And then I want you to take this information back to your club, sit with the executive committee, and do it. Don't just write it down. Do it.